Good evening, folks. It's Mike at Two Fingers for 2 Minutes, and welcome back. Tonight we're going to be tasting a great little bourbon that is considered a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, even though it is from a St. Louis, Missouri distillery. And what's special about this bourbon is actually not that peculiar fact, but the special thing is, in fact, that this recipe is a pre-prohibition recipe which survived Prohibition intact. It didn't have to be rewritten in 1934, the first year it was legal to drink again. As a matter of fact, Yellowstone Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 90 proof, was classified as a prescription during Prohibition. And so the Yellowstone Distillery out of St. Louis did not actually have to stop production. They didn't change their recipe, and in the 30s they were still using the same recipe they had been using in 1919 and during Prohibition, and just selling it through drugstores. So I got this for $6, $6 even, at the liquor store where I found it. They do not actually calculate sales tax, so everything is even. I like that old way of doing things. I'm going to pour it, and we're going to see how it tastes. I mentioned that it is out of a Missouri distillery, but it is actually a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Well, how is that? First of all, it's very young. Here we've got our 2 fingers for 2 minutes out of the old Yellowstone. Yellowstone is very young, and I mentioned that this bourbon is actually a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey out of St. Louis, Missouri. Well, how's that? Well, first of all, it is distilled out of state in St. Louis and aged and bottled in Kentucky. So it's distilled by the Yellowstone Distillery, who has a contract with Heaven Hill Distillers in Bardstown, Kentucky, where the rick houses for the Heaven Hill Distillery sit, and it comes to Kentucky and then ages for 36 months exactly in the rick houses and is bottled at the Heaven Hill Distilling plant. And that makes it still a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Alright, here it is. We're going to taste. It tastes young. It's 90 proof, so it's not a particularly high proof, and you can tell that. It doesn't have any wheat, and it's definitely got a little bit of rye, but I would be surprised if it was anywhere beyond 15%. Nevertheless, it has a decidedly sour and rye finish, so it's good. It's definitely spicy in the rye way. I like it a lot. I'll be buying it again, and if I can find it for $6 again in the New Haven, Kentucky liquor store that I was in, I'll get it there. Well, thanks for coming back, guys. Hope to see you again soon. And for now,